Of the many things that Star Wars fans love to do, one of the things that really divides the fandom are those who would win scenarios, high diff, medium diff, low diff discussions. I'm not going to go into the specifics here, but in my personal opinion, a general trend is that Force users from the Old Republic would be much stronger than those in the Clone Wars, but not for reasons that we think. In Knights of the Old Republic 2, Kreia says this about the ancient Sith Lord Tulak Hord.
If you were to face an ancient Sith Lord in combat, you would learn that we are as children playing with toys compared to the prowess of the old masters.
There's just something about ancient things that are being shrouded in mystery that gives an allure of enigma and mysticism. It makes us view it in a more different light, perhaps something akin to how we view monsters or ghosts as kids. This isn't to say that the ancient Sith are paper tigers, but the fact that we tend to know so little about them as compared to the more contemporary Sith Lords like Dooku or Vader means that we are more likely to fear them. Fear of the unknown is, after all, a very human trait. And the Sith Lords of all are said to have many powers and abilities and access to technology which would have been otherwise lost to history that even the best Sith Lords of now cannot hope to combat. Even the Jedi of the Old Republic seem to have far more lightsaber variants and powers to match their rivals. Battle meditation, force healing, life force training are just some powers that you don't really get to hear a lot during the Clone Wars era. The mystic lightsaber crystals like the Heart of the Guardian or Mentor of the Force? Well, those things are nowhere to be found as well. If you were to ask any history buff who is the greatest general of all time, perhaps he would come up with examples such as Genghis Khan, Julius Caesar, or Hannibal, ancient men who have lived over centuries ago. We could also quote more modern examples such as Napoleon or Erwin Rommel. It would be less likely for people to come up with examples of more recent wars like Vietnam or Desert Storm, because these events still live in recent memory and we have yet to experience their full impact till this day. The same can be said about ancient Sith Lords. After all, they are most impactful as they were the ones that laid the foundation for the modern Sith. Darth Bane's Rule of Two was partly inspired by Darth Revan's ideals. The deadliest lightsaber techniques were developed by Tulak Hord, and there were many forbidden force powers that Marka Ragnos mastered. Whatever their contributions and actions were, these have enough time that we could see the impact over the course of history in Star Wars. You don't really have that much discussion about the impact of Dooku and Maul in the sequel trilogy or the original trilogy, because their actions were still quite recent. Though one may also be quick to point out that the Empire censored a lot of stuff. An exception would be Sidious with his whole manipulation of the galaxy, but that's a whole nother discussion. One thing that we Old Republic fans love the most is just the number of Sith Lords fighting against the Jedi. I mean, wasn't this cinematic just epic and awesome? For the Sith and Jedi of the Clone Wars, facing off against a trained Force user really is a rare commodity. Most of the war is spent deflecting blaster bolts from droids, and even then, you almost always have a squad of clones to help you. And if the Jedi lack combat experience against Force users, I don't really think it actually says too much about the skills of their rivals. If you're a Sith Lord and you beat a Jedi who has never fought a Sith Lord, does that make you a good Sith Lord? No, absolutely not. It just means that the Jedi are terrible. I'm not saying that Count Dooku and Darth Sidious are not well trained, but they are definitely not as battle hardened and combat experienced compared to the Sith Lords who have consistently fought against the Jedi. The Sith Lords of old have more real-life experience for them to fine-tune and master their powers, compared to the Sith who have mostly lived in the shadows for too long, leading to stagnation. And you can say that because of that they are a bit more mediocre in standard. I remember seeing an argument somewhere before that Darth Plagueis had already gathered all the possible knowledge that he could have, and since he had all the knowledge of all the Sith, he was the most powerful Sith Lord to ever live, behind Palpatine and Vader. But just because you know something doesn't mean you fully understand it, and it certainly doesn't mean you know how to get it working. Additionally, I have already mentioned that there were just so many techniques and abilities that were lost in history before. It would be foolish to make such a sweeping statement. After all, knowing how to apply and when to apply these abilities, and Also, mastering them requires a ton of practice and experience that cannot be obtained by just studying. Just because you know the strategies of Admiral Nelson doesn't mean you will definitely win a great victory over Japan in the Pacific. That's just a general issue with comparing between capabilities of men from different eras. The specifics of a scenario and their context still plays a huge role in their feats. Anyways, those are my thoughts on why I think the ancient Sith Lords and the ancient Jedi are more powerful. Do let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And if you're interested in all things related to Star Wars and the Old Republic, don't forget to check out the rest of my channel. As always, may the Force be with you.